Hello, welcome. I'm Sarah, and I'm gonna talk you through the books that I read in January of 2024. First month of the year, I'm sorry. And I read 14 books last month, so that's good. That's a decent amount. I'm very glad that I read that much. I also read pretty good books in January, so that's also fun. And yeah, that's basically it. It's a little late to make a wrap up. It's like we're already halfway through February, but we're just gonna ignore that fact. Better late than never, you know? So let's get into the books that I read in January. The first book that I finished in January was actually a reread. It's The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I don't have the physical book because I read it on my e-reader. This is a reread. The second time that I read it, and the first time that I read it, I gave it 4 stars, but I was like, okay, I want to read it again, and now it's 5 stars. That is very special because I do not give books 5 stars a lot, not very often. Last year, 2023, I gave 2 books 5 stars, I think. Out of the 137 books I read, I gave 2 5 stars. So that says something. And this could have been the third book that I gave 5 stars of 2023, but the thing is, I finished it the 1st of January. So it's 5 star of January of 2024. So that's fun. This is about Indy and Ryan. Ryan is a basketball player and Indy is his roommate. This is the second book in the series. I would recommend reading the rest of the series too because books are amazing. The first one is Mile High and that follows Stevie and Sanders. Stevie is Ryan's sister. So this follows basically the brother of Stevie. This book follows that. And he's a basketball player. He plays basketball. Indy moves in with him because of a certain situation. And yeah, that's where the romance develops, you know. It was a really fun book. I love the characters. I'm literally so in love with Ryan Shea. I cannot even explain it to you. Like, he's amazing. He is wonderful. I love him with all of my heart. So I would definitely recommend you to read this book. The next book that I read was Chicken Made by Ellie Hazelwood. I think this came out December 7th. And I bought it like 20 days after its release date, and I loved it, let me tell you. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's about chess, and I got the desire to read chess, so I think it did what it was supposed to. I wanted to play chess. After I finished the book, I was like, oh my god, I need to play chess. Like, I want to get into the world of chess. That was a phase that lasted an hour, but we're gonna ignore that. But it did give me the desire to do that. So that was fun. I have almost read all of Ellie Hazelwood's books because she came out with Bride a few days ago. And I still need to read that, but I'm gonna read that soon. Because if I read Bride, I will have read all of Ellie Hazelwood's books once again. I love Ellie Hazelwood. I haven't given any of her books lower than 4 stars. That's great. Like, I love her. My Wi-Fi just stopped working, so that's fun. I cannot look up my ratings and reviews, but I do remember the next one, which was Haunting Adeline, which is a very different scene from what I normally read, but it was fun. I give 4.25 stars. I absolutely loved Haunting Adeline. I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna enjoy this, you know, but I ended up really loving it, which was surprising to me because before that, I hadn't really read any really dark romances. So this was like my first dive into the dark romance genre. I have read the Hooked and Scarred and then Wretched by Emily McIntyre, but I'm not sure what the series, the Never After series. I read the first 3 books in that series, and I loved that. But that was like dipping your toes in that dark romance genre, you know? So this was like a deep dive into it, and I'm not mad at it. Like, I was questioning my morals at times, but you know, who cares? Like, it was fun. I loved it. Yeah, it's about Addie, and her stalker. So Adeline gets stalked by this one dude. We get his POV and we get her POV. And she lives in this creepy ass house, which is so fun. Love the vibes. And then he stalks her. And yeah, it's a romance between them. That was fun. But it does discuss more serious matters like sex trafficking and stuff. So I thought that was nice too to see that in a romance book. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Like I'm learning something out of this too. Like I was like, what? So that was fun. I really loved this book. I gave it 4.25 stars, as I said. And yeah, I will definitely read more by H.D. Carlton. So next I read Pucking Ever After Volume 1, which is like a little novella of short stories kind of from the POV of the characters that we read from in Pucking Around by Emily Rath. And I loved Pucking Around. Like, there were some mixed opinions on Pucking Around, but I personally really liked it. It was a 4-star read for me. And then I read Pucking After Volume 1, and I liked it. It wasn't like anything special, and I was kind of thinking that it would be better, but I still liked it. I still read it in one day. It was fun, you know? It was basically just short stories of the happy ever after the end of Pucking Around. So that was fun, but it wasn't anything special or something like that. It was just a fun read. Liked reading it, but it wasn't amazing or something life-changing. Wasn't that, but it was fun. Then I read Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. I liked that book a lot. Like, it was so damn cute. It was like adorable. I loved it, but it wasn't anything special. Again, it wasn't anything special. It didn't give me those vibes that I was like, okay, I'm literally in love with these characters, which other books did give me, but this one just didn't. But it was a cute, fun read. It's about Pippa and I forgot his name. Was it Jamie? It was Jamie, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, so it was about Pippa and Jamie, and they knew each other back in school, and now Pippa is his assistant. She thinks, okay, so Jamie doesn't remember me. I had this huge crush on him. Pippa had this huge crush on him. But she was like, okay, so he probably doesn't remember me. Like, he didn't even know me in school. But he remembers her. He remembers it, let me tell you. So when she comes to his door, he's like, oh my god, it's Pippa. But he kind of acts distant. But he's like, oh my god, it's Pippa. I used to have a huge crush on her. She has this beautiful voice and stuff. And that was just so cute. It was adorable. I loved it. And I also read the second book in the series, but I'll come back to that later. I also read Blood Bonds by an author I don't remember the name of. That doesn't matter. That's not the point. You'll see a picture here. This is like a fantasy romance book, but it focuses more on the romance part than the fantasy part. And when I read the first book, because this is a series, this is the third book in a series. When I read the first book, I was like, okay, this has the potential to be great, you know? But I do not see that greatness. I was like, okay, I'm gonna end up falling in love with the series, but now I'm trying to start book 4, and I have kind of lost interest already. And I haven't even started book 4. Like, there are still 3 more books to go, I think. So that's not fun, but the story's good. Like, I can understand why people like it, but I don't know, it's not hitting right for me. And it focuses more on the romance part, which I love, because I haven't been in a fantasy mood lately. Like, the last half year, I've been more into romance and fantasy, which is very rare for me, because usually I'm a fantasy girly at heart. But no, now I'm a romance girly at heart. So it focused more on the romance, but at the end of this book, it focused more on the fantasy aspect of the story, which I also liked. I feel kind of indifferent towards this book. I gave it 3.5 stars, which is fine. Like, it was fine, you know, but I'm not sure if I will continue the series. Iced Out by C.D. Vicky. I read this a while back already, and I liked it, and I got like that feeling that it was a 5-star, but I was like, some aspects of it just didn't hit right, so how could I give it a 5 stars? So I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I feel very content with that rating. Like, I'm happy that I didn't end up giving it 5 stars, because then I would have had to change it. So this is an enemies to lovers hockey romance between 2 characters. They're both male, so I love that too. Like, I love me some gay romance, you know, love that. And enemies to lovers, they hate each other's guts, but they're on the same team, so they have to work together and stuff. Then one day something happens, but it just didn't make sense to me. Kind of like, I was like kind of confused. I was like, how did this happen? Like, it went from point A to point C. So I was like, what the fuck is happening here? But it was fun. I did see the love between them, like, eventually. At first I was like, but then I thought, okay, this was kind of cute. Like, that was kind of fun. So I'm happy I read this book, but it wasn't anything life-changing. Give it 4 stars. Liked it. Would recommend. I also read Collide, another hockey romance. I've been in my hockey romance era recently, like my sports romance era. Love it. I love sports romance. Like those are my favorite romances, I think. Like I love them. This one is a hockey romance. It's about Summer and Adrian. What's his name? Adrian? Not sure. Anyways, it's about them. Summer has to write this assignment and she has to use information from Adrian. I'm not sure if that was his name. From this one character, from the male lead. And he doesn't want that. She doesn't want that because she's kind of forced to do this project on hockey. Well, she doesn't want that, but she has a bitch of a professor. So she has to do that. It kind of stopped rather quickly, that assignment, and it felt kind of forced. I don't know. I give 3 stars. Like, it wasn't anything special. Like, it's not a bad 3 stars at all. It's like a good 3 stars because I have a bad 3 stars and I have a good 3 stars. This was a good 3 stars, so don't get me wrong. But I just didn't really love it. Like, I liked it good enough, but I got kind of bored towards the halfway point. Another third book in the series. This one is Wretched by Emily McIntyre. I enjoyed this one. I give it 4 stars, but something didn't sit right with me, and I'm gonna tell you what that was. So, the main character in this, the female lead in this book, is a drug dealer, and I don't know how I feel about that, you know? Like, you murder someone, whatever, you kidnap someone, whatever, you deal in drugs, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that. But this book is fine. It was good. Like, I really liked the romance, but I, at the same time, felt like the romance really wasn't developing except for the lust. It was like insta lust. It wasn't insta love, but it was instant lust, and I felt like that didn't really change throughout the whole book. That is my problem with a lot of romances, is that I feel like they're lusting after each other, but they're not getting to know each other, and that was the same thing with this book. Like, I felt like we were really not getting to know each other. Like, a little, but not a lot. Like, the basic stuff, you know? I like this. Also, it's about Evelina Nicholas. And Nicholas is the agent that is supposed to discover who the person is behind the making of the drugs. So that's fun. Like, the plot was fun. But, I don't know, the drug dealing kind of made me feel icky. Next one is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This is the 3rd book, YA book, that I have read by Lynn Painter. I've also read The Love Wager, which is not YA. That was new adult, I think. But this is my 3rd young adult by her I've read, and I definitely enjoy her young adults more than I enjoy her new adults. But that is like not a new opinion or something. Like, that is not different than what others have said. Like, pretty much all people have said that. But I enjoy her young adults better. This one, though, I don't know what to think. Like, I liked it just fine, but I also feel kind of indifferent towards this because I like them more as friends than I like them in a relationship. Like, I was like, this dynamic between them when they were friends, like, that was amazing. Like, that was so funny. It felt like they were best friends. Like, nothing can come between them, you know? But yeah, I knew there was gonna be a romance, so I wouldn't say it was disappointing, but I was like, this could have been like a staying friend story, and it would have been fine too, you know? But it was fun anyways. It's kind of like a dislike, but that dislike goes away rather quickly, and then they're working at the same place, so it's kind of like a workplace romance, but most of the time they're not working the same shift, so it's kind of also not a workplace romance. But they do work at the same place. The characters, I believe they are 17. But it was a fun book. And it's kind of surreal to think that I'm almost 17 as well. Like, I'm almost the same age as these people. Like, that is so crazy. Not sure if I mentioned this already, but I gave Betting on You 3.75 stars because it was fine, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like my favorite Lynn Painter book, you know? I like Better Than the Movies way better. Also like the Do-Over better. Like, I love the Do-Over. Like, wow. But this was fine. Is it obvious that I'm kind of in my dark romance era? Because I read a mafia romance, which isn't dark romance per se, but it's darker, you know? Because it's mafia. Like, I love mafia romances. I haven't read a lot of those because I feel like, I don't know, they don't really grab my interest really fast. But this is the 2nd book in the series, Cardinal Urges. And the first one is Ruthless Creatures, which I gave 3 stars, I think, but like a good 3 stars or 3.5 stars. I don't know. But this one had the potential to be 5 stars. Like the first half, I was obsessed. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I love the female main character. Also love the dynamic between the main character, the male main character, and the female main character. I love the dynamic. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be 5 stars. Like I did not expect that, you know, like 2 5 stars in a month when last year I didn't even get 3 5 stars. Like what the fuck is happening? But the second half kind of ruined that. I don't know what it was, but it felt different than the first half. I felt like the personality of the female lead kind of went away or something like that. Like she wasn't that fun, spontaneous girl anymore. And I didn't like that because I loved her personality in the first half, but then the second half I was like, I don't know. Like I loved it still, but it was less fun. Still gave it 4 stars. Like it was a good book. I would recommend, but I don't know. Remember when I said I would read more H.D. Carlton? Yeah, I did. This is Hunting Adeline, the second book in the cat and mouse duet. Yeah, so people did say that this one was like 100 times darker than the first one was, which I was like, okay, maybe they're exaggerating. Like I will take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, don't do what I did. This made me nauseous. Because definitely check trigger warnings with the first book as well, but with this one especially, because this one was heavy. I was like, I felt so wrong. I was like, oh my god, this doesn't feel right. I was about to cry when I was reading this. It was a really good book, but it's so heavy. It is so trauma filled, and I loved it, but that kind of took away my love. That part that kind of took away my love for this book. Like it could have been a 4.5 stars, but I ended up giving it 4 stars because of the topics that were discussed and that happened in this book. Still loved it again, but if I had known what graphic scenes would happen in this book, I'm not sure if I would have picked it up that fast, you know? Like I still liked it a lot, but it was heavy. Also, you cannot read Hunting Adeline without reading Haunting Adeline because it's a follow-up of the first book. And then I read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed my time reading this. It is about a girl, Jordan, which I thought was a very odd name for a girl, and Pike, the male main character in this book, also thought that was an odd name for a girl, but apparently it's not. I don't know. But Jordan has a boyfriend. She ends up breaking up with that boyfriend and getting something with his dad. I'm very proud to say that I enjoyed this book. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm proud. Since I have finished this book, I have read one more book with this trope. I don't know, it hits for me. I love this trope. And I don't know why. Like, is it my daddy issues? I'm not sure, but who knows? Who freaking knows? But I love this book. That is kind of dramatic. I give 3.25 stars. Like, I enjoyed tropes, but I kind of thought this book was boring at the same time. Like, not a lot happened. And I thought more would happen, but it didn't. So that was kind of disappointing. But it was a fun book. I love the tropes in this book. And we ended the month with a bang. The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is the second book in the Vancouver Storm series. I talked about Behind the Nets, which I liked. But this one, oh my freaking god, I loved it. I loved Rory. Like, Rory, I was like not expecting a lot because I thought he was kind of a douchebag in the first book, but he kind of like got some character development in the first book, but I was like, not sure what to think of him. But in this book, oh my god, he's amazing. Love him. Maybe one of my favorite fictional boyfriends of all time. But he doesn't quite reach Ryan Shea level, but you know, he may be down there, you know, like maybe third place or something. I don't know who the second place is, but third place maybe feels right. Like, I loved him. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the plot was. It was a fake dating trope, which I keep saying that I don't really enjoy the fake dating trope, but every time I read a fake dating book with that trope, I'm like, okay, I love this. So I don't know why I keep saying I don't like it when I obviously do. But it's not my favorite trope. I'm not sure what my favorite trope is, but that isn't, but I enjoy it. This book was really good. I got 4.25 stars. I think I read it in 2 days, maybe 1 day even. I really loved it. Like, I will definitely continue on with the series. I will definitely read more of Stephanie Archer's books because, oh my god, I love her books already. Those were the 14 books that I read in January. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, just like a quick look at what kind of books I read. I read 5 physical books and the rest were all ebooks because I've been in my e-reader ebook phase recently. Like, I love my e-reader. Like, I'm in love with it. So that's kind of an overview of what kinds of formatting in books I read. So I hope this was a fun video. I enjoyed making it. Hope you will maybe watch more of me, maybe not, who knows. And I hope I'll see you next time. So goodbye, see you later. Bye bye.